thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your host, Jason Beck, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yes. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It's Wednesday. It's Hemp Day, apparently. November 12th. Today is National French Dip Day.
Okay. Put in the juice. Here we go.
Yeah. It's also National Chicken Soup for the Soul Day.
Yeah. Well, it works. I don't care what they say.
And, oh, you're going to love this, Dale. It's National Pizza with the Works, except Anchovies Day.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Can do that.
Yeah, man. It's pretty classic in my mind.
My son still thinks I'm a blasphemer for liking Hawaiian pizza.
Oh, I love Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, I just tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, exactly. You should. You should. He needs to evolve a little bit on his,
Leave me alone. I'm an old man. I paid my dues. If I want some ham and pineapple, get out of my face.
Exactly. Tell him to kick rocks. I'm with that.
Regularly.
Dale. I'm with that. Well, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, as well as on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms today. And man, you guys, man, I have some interesting stories for you guys today. Oh boy, because petitioners gathering signatures to repeal marijuana accused of misleading voters, you guys. That's right. The Secretary of the Commonwealth's office said they have received complaints from people who have said they have signed these petitions without reading them. Petitioners gathering signatures supporting the proposed repeal of adult use marijuana are being accused of either misleading voters or misrepresenting what's on their petition, which state officials remind voters to read before signing. Coalition for a Healthy Massachusetts is organizing around a ballot question to effectively repeal adult use cannabis, making it illegal to possess more than 1 ounce of cannabis, and the committee's goal is to gather enough signatures to get the question on the ballot next year. Multiple social media reports, registered voters, and an industry advocate are accusing the signature gatherers of misrepresenting the ballot initiative. In a response, a committee spokesperson called the allegations baseless charges and chalked them up as to the inevitable early success. The state attorney general's office confirmed they have received complaints about the petitioners, but cannot confirm, deny, or comment upon any investigations. A spokesperson for the Secretary of the Commonwealth also said they have received complaints from people who have said they have signed these petitions without reading them. The Elections Division has informed those voters of the process for stopping certification of their signature, which involves filing a signed request with the local election office before the petition is submitted to that office for certification. Spokesperson Deborah O'Malley said, cannabis businesses advocates and it's organized voter fraud because David O'Brien, the president and CEO of the Massachusetts Cannabis-Based Association, accused the petitioners of organized voter fraud, you guys. In a quote, he says, we're hearing this all over the state. We're hearing it from folks who are going to the grocery stores, O'Brien told the Boston.com. The signature collectors on many, many, many occasions are lying to people to get them to sign it, and we think that's fraud. And we're going to continue to remind voters that they need to be eyes wide open about this. Jake, a registered voter from Gloucester, said a signature gatherer in Burlington talked to his wife about affordable housing, and she signed that one. Then the signature gatherer started talking, essentially using ambiguous wording about the redistricting of cannabis shops out of school zones and all of that kind of stuff. She didn't sign that one. The petition does not address any redistricting, and leading with that absolutely would be a misrepresentation, said Wendy Wakeman, a spokesperson for the Coalition for a Healthy Massachusetts. And in a quote, definitely, the committee does not encourage or support anybody collecting signatures or giving out false information. That is not tactic of the committee at large, Wakeman said. But voters, because the tables outside grocery stores reportedly draw in voters with affordable housing petitions. Misa Campbell, an artist at the Berkshires, posted on Facebook an image of the table advertising petitions for affordable housing and voting identification laws. But if you ask to read the petition, they won't let you read it because there are things you might not want to vote for, like making over an ounce of weed illegal. In a seemingly similar situation, a Reddit user also included an image of a table reportedly advertising petitions for affordable housing and same-day voting outside a market basket in Waltham. Then a quote, but in fact, the paper you would sign was for prohibiting marijuana, the user wrote. You really need to cross-reference bill numbers to see that they don't match. And when I told them that this is a classic case of bait and switch and they're deceiving people, they got angry and called me names. Oh. But petitioners, they're saying when you sign a petition, you should read what you're signing, and that is very, very true. The compensated signature gatherers are also not working to gather signatures for any other petitions, including anything related to affordable housing, Wakeman confirmed. And in a quote, I am not certain that all of the claims are truly fraudulent and not confusion on the part of the person who signed it, she said. When you sign the petition, the question itself is written at the top of the petition. And when you sign a petition, you should read what you are signing. A user on social media also reported a lying signature gatherer outside the Trader Joe's in Brookline, and another confirmed a sighting outside a market basket in Raynham where the sign didn't reference marijuana. Janice Hagerman, a Somerville voter, told Boston.com that she signed a petition outside her local market basket to put marijuana on the ballot, she said, the signature gatherer said. In a quote, hey, didn't say anything else, she said. I think I should have read what I was looking at. I feel like normally when people ask for your signature, they want to explain what they're about and why you're signing it. But he was just telling me, here, sign here. Wakeman declined to identify the firm hired by the committee to gather signatures, and the Secretary of the Commonwealth's office said the petitioners authorized a representative from Impact Advocacy Group to pick up their petitions. The group, a political firm, did not return a request for comment. And in a quote, they say, what happens in signature drives is that when the opposition starts to see that the signature gatherers might have success, they start throwing a lot of crap around and baseless charges, Wakeman said. The opponents to this ballot proposal are muddying the water. Oh man, oh man, oh man. This is so Massachusetts to me. This is so classic. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. Dale, they're misleading the voters.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe you should read what you sign.
Right.
This is why knuckleheads get themselves in trouble. Oh, just sign here.
Yep.
What is it? Oh, don't worry about it. Listen, dude. Everybody and his brother lies by omission today. It's like the accepted practice. And if you ain't ready to do some critical thinking, and you know, I understand why you live in your mom's basement, you Moron.
These basement dwellers.
Especially nowadays, I mean, everyone's for cheaper housing, affordable housing. So if you just blurt that out, yeah, it's for affordable housing and, you know, something like that. But I mean, politicians sneak in policy action, all sorts of things into spending bills. I mean, obviously, like the article says, you know, don't sign anything without reading it. But, you know, there's a part of me that's just curious to see what it would be like for a state like Massachusetts to repeal recreational cannabis. Not that I want that necessarily, but I don't think it's really happened before. And are the prices going to go back up? Is everyone going to renew their med cards? It's really kind of interesting.
I mean, I don't think it has a chance of you know, if it was even to get on the ballot, I don't think it has a chance of passing, unless they do a lot of cheating like they do here in California. But
wouldn't put it past that, but I doubt it.
Once it's on the ballot, now you have a chance to you know, use the media to explain, here's what they didn't tell you, and this is what it's about. So I get that, and I wish that all of this was more open and above board, because we all look at what politicians do to try to get votes and just, I want to vomit. They all lie through their teeth. They promise you shit. Like when I was in the 6th grade and promised some Coke out of the drinking fountain, you vote for me.
Yeah.
Where's the Coke? Oh, that was just something I told you. Well, okay, you're running for Congress. Why in the fuck you lie to me like that?
Well, I mean,
something like this on the ballot. Why would you not be honest about what you're trying to do? Well, because that's the nature of where we live right now.
It's kind of like you know, I think people are taught this when they're young, because when they run for class president, you know what I'm saying, like in elementary school, they promise pizza parties every Friday, and then they're never able to deliver on that.
Well, I did it. I got elected.
See what I'm saying? See, did you promise pizza parties every Friday, Dale?
I promised Coke coming out of the drinking fountains.
Oh. Oh man, that's so awesome.
No one followed up and asked me, where's the Coke? They knew it was bullshit.
Yeah. It's a great talking point. Oh my God, I wish we had video of that, Dale. That would be so awesome to watch you deliver that speech. Oh, damn.
It was effective, man.
Damn, man. I'm sure it was. I bet it was.
Get you a lobbying firm. Come on, work for me. Let's go.
I mean, but you know, in regards with all this this fraudulent things, I feel like there's so many complaints. Like some of them definitely have to be true, right?
Oh, I would start from the position. Let's assume they're true. What are they trying to pull here? But this is just getting it on the ballot. I mean, that's just, you know, the first stage. I said once it gets on the ballot, if it ever does, or you got to go explain to the Secretary of State, why do we have 100,000 complaints here of you guys telling people things that aren't true? And you know, at that point, get it on the ballot and ask people, hey, read it. This is what it means.
Yeah. You know,
if you pass this law, how are you going to enforce it? That's always my question to people. Why are you going to pass a law you can't enforce?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Black market's going to love it. You know, they're going to make money. Why would you do this?
You know, I wondered, you know, how constitutional is something like this, Dale, if you have people that have started businesses and, you know, gone into operation and received permits and licenses, and then, you know, you get some prohibitionists that want to reverse course. I mean, how constitutional is that, and what type of repercussions legally let's just say if it was to pass as a voter initiative, it was to pass, and then what, these people that just have these businesses are just left just you know, canceling their leases and liquidating their inventory, or, you know, selling it in the trap, or what does that actually look like?
Well, if you look at it from the federal constitution, you know, this is illegal under federal law if it's not hemp, okay? And they're not talking about hemp, they're talking about marijuana or, you know, we call cannabis. So I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of help at the federal level. You know, I could be wrong. I don't know what the Massachusetts state constitution says about this entire area, but it's not unusual. You can get some relief for, you know, effect of laws on contracts, but you know, that's a messy subject. If they have the power to do it, you go, well, you know, they changed the law. I lost all my business. You know, you're supposed to be able to have protection of your property through due process. But if it goes to the ballot and they pass it, You go, well, I didn't have due process. My response is, what are you talking about? What have you been smoking, dude?
Mm-hmm.
You got an election. You got notice. You got to go court and sue. Now you get due process. If they tell you you're shit out of luck, then you got due process to be told you're shit out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to get very far. Is the answer.
I don't
This
either.
is still way too controversial.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most places tell you, hey, don't bet the farm on this right now because it's subject to change.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, in California did that. This is 1 year at a time, dude. Don't sign up for a 5-year lease for a 1-year option that may not be there next year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They warn you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a whole lot of arguments if that's what the law says and you sign up for a 5-year lease and the next year they don't renew your license. What are you going to say? You were warned.
Yep. Fair enough. Well, on that, we're going to roll into...
Ain't right, but it's real.
It is real. It is real. And on that, we're going to roll into our first commercial because that is real also.
As we can.
I love a good escape room, Dale. But let me tell you something, they're always saying how Republicans don't evolve on cannabis and this and that. You know what I mean? Well, guess what? I'm here to be a naysayer to all of those types of people because Charles Herbster changes his position on medical cannabis on Veterans Day today. Or Veterans Day yesterday, you guys. That's right. On this Veterans Day, former candidate for Nebraska Governor Charles Herbster is weighing in on his medical marijuana, explaining that his conversations with many veterans over the years have changed his position on the issue. On Facebook, Herbster wrote, "For veterans, cannabis is a far better option than the opioids most are prescribed for their ailments. Governor Jim Pillen has done everything he can do to delay and dismantle the voter-enacted medical cannabis statutes, and he has restricted medical cannabis regulation so much that it will be difficult for those in need to find relief." After 7 of every 10 Nebraska voters approved medical cannabis 1 year ago, Governor Pillen told First Alert 6 that that the will of the people is important, but there are times you have to stand back and consider what's best for all people. And that's a back step, if I ever heard one in my days. 3 years ago, Herbster finished second to Pillen in a crowded field in the Republican primary for governor. And Ron Edwards, a spokesperson for Charles Herbster, tells me tonight that Herbster has heard from a lot of people encouraging him to run for governor, but a decision has not yet been made. The primary for this election is in May in that governor's race in Nebraska. Well, look at this. Republicans shifting their mind. And all around the veterans issue, Dale. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Well, I'd love to see the veterans be the wedge that gets them to rethink some of their stupid positions they've taken in the past. I mean, it's hard to argue with, my generation had horrible PTSD coming out of NOM.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were told we were baby killers, so we just kind of went away.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible to do that anymore. These kids coming out of the Middle East where they do multiple tours, and you just twist their brains up into a knot and then put them onto psychotropics and give them Vicodin and tell them, oh, you'll be fine, and then they're killing themselves at 20 a day. This is our national reality, and I would hope that with natural remedies like cannabis, like some of the natural psychedelics that have just wonderful antidepressive effects, things like that.
Yeah.
We can cut through some of the noise, tell the Kevin Sabets of the world to sit down and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Tell them to kick rocks.
But, my next story is it's like I'm shaking my head going, I don't know that we have the attention and what's happening in the world right now, and especially in this country, get this over the line. It's hard for me as a veteran from Vietnam, and I was a corpsman. You know, even during the war, we were giving guys Thorazine so they wouldn't jump out a window or kill somebody. And I don't know what you do with those folks. And the rest of us who develop PTSD over time, some more than others, it's just hard to look them in the eye when they know what works for them and tell them, hey, we got to be careful because you might get arrested. I mean, they threw my ass in prison for trying to help people. Some of them were veterans with PTSD. And I hope they've evolved. But as you know, there's still a lot of rectal myopia about this entire subject matter. People get entrenched about things, and their decisions have real life consequences. Yep. Human beings who strapped it on to protect this country. So let's try to honor them if we can.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I hope everybody had a great Veterans Day yesterday. I know I got to go hang out with a few veterans yesterday after the show. It was a great little time celebrating the Cambodian population that fought in World War II in the Air Force. I hung out with them yesterday for a little while. Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting group. The OSS brought them in, during the war. There was a lot of things we didn't really study in our history classes in high school of what went on in Southeast Asia with the OSS, and they're fighting the Japanese. And props to all of them, even at the Hmong after Vietnam. I mean, those guys strapped it on for us, and I hope they're doing well here in this country. I suspect they're not, but we welcomed them here because they were our allies in a horrible, ugly situation in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts on this, Chris, on this gentleman shifting his mind? He may be the next governor of Nebraska.
I mean, I think it's a common sense issue more than a party issue, and it's refreshing to see someone supporting that and being realistic about it. And, there's also obviously the social tide has already shifted, I think, across the nation on where cannabis should be, at the very least for medical and mental health usage. Maybe not quite everyone on adult use, but, he could be using that to improve his position as far as running for governor. But it, from my point of view, it's very much a common sense issue. And like I said, it's a refreshing point of view.
Fair enough. Well, on that, we're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into Mr. Dale Schafer. Dale has been an attorney since the Reagan administration. He has represented physicians, hospitals, insurance companies, cops, corrections officers, and for the last 25 years, he specialized in cannabis law. He served a 5-year federal prison sentence for helping medical marijuana patients and managed to save his law license. He's blunt. He doesn't smoke them because they're ratchet, they're nasty, and they turn your teeth yellow on top of other things yellow, but he is honest and he's unconcerned with your opinion, public opinion, and anyone else's opinion, however they choose to identify. And he will show you how he can defy gravity by pissing up a rope. That's right, it is your favorite Tio Loco, and you can now find him at his own law office, at the law office of none other than Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite Tio Loco and full of shitakis. Here we are on a Wednesday morning, the day after Veterans Day, and my article comes out of Marijuana Moment from Kyle Yeager yesterday. Congress abandons effort to let VA doctors recommend medical marijuana on Veterans Day. Now, there's a whole lot of propaganda going into this, and I must say that I'm bit disappointed that language that was agreed upon to leave doctors alone in the VA if they actually talk to you about your use of cannabis and how it's fit into your health regimen, and give people a piece of paper that gives them basically access to cannabis and defenses in court and things like that. It seems like we should be able to take this step. Doesn't seem like it's rocket science. And as Chris just pointed out, it seems obvious. This should be fact-driven, unemotional. We're looking at people that served our country, came out of whatever deployments they had with their brain not straight. We call it PTSD. There's a lot of other things to go into it. But cannabis helps. Sue Sisley did the laboring oar to get cannabis recognized as an acceptable treatment for PTSD. That in and of itself is a factual basis to look at how to deal with this situation. It seems like, what is the question now? Okay, we've proven it works for PTSD, and we keep moving forward, or do we get caught in, this is not a big enough issue today, so we'll stick it off to the side again. The language was approved bipartisan. It's not in the current spending bill, which is upsetting to me because I have been to the VA. And part of my concern with them is that if you let them know you're using cannabis, number one, your gun rights are in question. A whole lot of vets I know, it's like I ain't telling them shit because I don't want anybody coming and asking me about my gun rights. And that's a big problem for the vets that I work with. And the other one is that the VA, at least when I was there, wanted drug testing. They want to know what you're taking, and the implication is that we allow you to do this, or we give you some medication, you're using cannabis, they're going to then have control over what you do. And let me just tell you right now, I don't think doctors out there should have control over how you take care of yourself. They're not good at it. 100 and something years ago, they wiped out most alternative medical theories from the end of the 1800s into the early 1900s. The established medical profession pushed them out of the way. They wanted pharmaceuticals. They wanted to control all the narrative here. The Food and Drug Act took place. You have to jump through all these goddamn hoops to get a drug approved. And now a doctor, if he wants to do something, he's got to check with the DEA and see, do you guys approve me doing this treatment, rather than treating their patients? Now, I've been married to a physician for 40 years. I defended them. And right now, I think they're pusillanimous. They don't want to stand up for their patients. And I don't hear the medical profession inside the VA screaming at these politicians like they should. You recognize that your patients are not killing themselves if you let them smoke some pot before they go sleep at night. What is the issue now? Why can't we just move forward into this? And this is the real problem we face. The numbers have hovered around 20 a day of veterans that blow their head off, and they're typically men. Men don't threaten suicide, they do it. Females will threaten suicide for attention and help and things like that. Guys just can blow their head off. That's a problem. And I've talked with more than enough veterans to understand this works for them. They begin to trust that there's hope and a future for them. And then you run smack into the VA where, they won't do it. There's all these political problems. And now we're looking at Washington, D.C. is a cesspool right now. And I don't think either party can avoid the smell that's all over them right now. Americans are just watching Washington, shaking their head, going, shit, I can't run my house like this. We couldn't run our local government like this. When are you guys going to step up and take care of the American people and stop fighting for, things that are nonsensical to the average voter? I don't really have a good answer. It just irritated me. I read this on Veterans Day. And if you've known anybody who committed suicide that was a veteran, then this should be a slap in your face. Hey, come on, pay attention. We all took an oath. We put our asses on the line. Many of us came out with PTSD, things like that. Can we help them out and not get us drug into your quagmire of bullshit back in Washington? Before I go any further, I'm going to shut up and throw this back at you because this irritates the crap out of me, guys.
Dale, you're very, very, very right about that. In a whole host of ways. And the fact that there was a provision in the spending bill that was going to allow the VA to recommend cannabis to veterans, and that got stripped out as part of this whole deal. And it just makes you wonder, all of these politicians always grandstand about how much they're for the veterans and want to help veterans and da-da-da-da. But, take a quick look at these individuals that negotiated this deal, because they are the ones that are just stopping veterans from having the access that they so desperately need.
Well, pardon me if I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but I've talked to a lot of veterans. I've had friends that were veterans. I was growing pot on a farm next to another farm where my neighbors were all veterans and would do their patrols, and then they would do security patrol for me as well, and spend a lot of time just talking. And some of these guys were basically being using all sorts of experimental meds for the pharmaceutical companies, stuff that was only being prescribed to veterans before it was being sold to the general public, all sorts of antipsychotic, nerve pain medicine, every kind of, not just mental health stuff, but physical injuries, war wounds, and just the whole array of drugs that I would see them leave the VA with was just crazy. And some of the stuff, if you do the, the chemistry behind it is, basically worse than any recreational drugs in general. And these are crazy cocktails, and the VA does have the ability to record data and report it. And so, once again, I don't know how much of that's really true, but I wouldn't be surprised if we use our vets to kind of trial or experiment some new drugs. And if they all get relief from cannabis, that takes that away, right? Plus, that whole public-private revolving door with pharma and, getting kickbacks, prescribing this to veterans that go through the VA. That seems obvious. Follow the money, and big pharma is right there. That's who's really blocking the door. We can't blame individual politicians. They're just in the pocket of someone bigger behind them.
Yeah. But see, that's the reality I think the average American voter's looking at and go, no, I may think I'm stupid, but I'm really not. I see what's going on here. And that, I think, is the problem that both parties are going to face going forward. Last number I saw is that 43% of the potential voters out there are undecided. And they're not stupid. I've got family and friends who fit into this group. Some of them are on the extremes of both, but most of them are in the middle here. I'm paying my bills. I do honor the veterans. Why can't you help them? Why are we being forced to take all these pharmaceuticals? And if anybody threatens this flow of commerce through pharmaceutical companies, then whether we know it or not, shit just gets stopped. Yep. It is. The language is taken out. And I doubt we'll ever get a real answer, an honest answer, as to why it was pulled out. We all have our suspicions, Chris, and I saw Kennedy's head go backwards when he got shot. So it's like, okay, you're telling me what now? Okay, yeah. I don't believe shit come out of the government anymore. I've been around too long. It just irritates me because most people think this is a good idea. Okay, and if most people think it's a good idea and you look at the government that won't do it, okay, this is anti-democratic. And that's part of what just bugs the crap out of me, what's going on right now. Special interests are involved all over the place. The next thing is, Epstein's going to grab all the oxygen and we won't be able to get shit done out of Washington. The Romans figured out if you give people the bread and the games, you can control them. Well, they just starved, how many million American people, and you think, oh, it's going to be fine. No, it's not. People are pissed right now. Yeah. You let people starve, make a point one way or the other. And I caution D's and R's, both of you. You're not looking at that 43% in the middle. You're going to get your ass kicked in an election. And we're heading towards an election where people have rectal myopia. And I'm trying to warn them, be careful. People are about to say, oh, no, we're not buying your bullshit no more. What that's going to mean, I don't know. But this stuff just irritates me. And as you can tell, I don't feel good this morning, so it really fucking pisses me off. Once again, another Veterans Day goes by where we're honoring men and women who really did this, and we get a slap, no, more a kick in the ass. We don't give a shit about you.
No, it's a slap in the face, Dale. You're exactly right. It is a slap in the face. It's a kick in the ass. It's all of these things. It's a punch in the nuts. It's, you know what I'm saying? All of that. It's all of that all in one. You know what I mean? And I could probably say a few other things, but this is trying to keep it family friendly over here today.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Fish. Yeah.
Oh man, much love to all the veterans, man. We love you and thank you all for your service. We hope you all had a great day today. And the reality of it is that shows like this would not exist if you have not fought for our freedoms, for our ability to keep free speech and the First Amendment and all of the freedoms that we all enjoy and love here in America, the greatest country in the world. And on that, we are going to roll into our next commercial and we are going to be right back.
Every legend has a humble beginning.
In world news, leaders are gathering today for the annual summit.
I want to tell you something, Che. The government is watching us through the television.
Oh, John.
Look, right there. They're trying to hack into my TV box.
We're still not able to hack into the TV box, sir.
Ha! But they can't. I've rebuilt the entire electronic system, and it sends and receives signals through quantum phase space. They'll never get in. Engage target.
In other news, local authorities are investigating a series of strange atmospheric phenomena reported by residents.
Ma'am, we're with the federal government. We need to ask you some questions.
John?
Is there a problem? We've been trying to penetrate your TV box for over 6 months. I told you they were trying to watch us through the TV, but you didn't believe me. We can't get in, and to be frank, we have no idea what you've created. Yeah, that's the point. It's called privacy. You know what the Fourth Amendment guarantees? All we know is that we can't get inside. We want to know if you can create one for us.
QUX. Even the government wants one.
It's ducking and hiding from the release of
Oh, yes. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And YouTube will appreciate it. Even Dale will probably appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.high9news.com.
Introducing QUX Pay, or simply the Pay app.
Where you can pay like it's nobody's business.
Because it isn't. It's what everyone's been clamoring for. It's finally here.
Secure every payment. Your data stays private. QUX will never sell your data for profit, period. Pay friends, family, contacts instantly. No hidden fees. No limits. Spend on the move.
With this patented technology, you can use debit, credit, bank transfers, cash cards, and even crypto completely offline.
Amounts transferred through the Pay app reach their destination instantly. Transfers in a flash. As quick as sending a text. No more waiting around like crypto. Are you ready for the future of payments? The state of the art for money is finally here.
Data privacy and security protocols trusted by militaries and banks worldwide. QUX Pay, the Pay app.
Available as an app and point of sale system, personal and corporate accounts available. Go to QUXPay.com and start using the Pay app today.
Oh, and we are back. We are back, you guys, and we are going to roll right on in to Mr. Chris Vaos. Christopher is a seasoned cannabis industry professional with over 15 years of experience in commercial cultivation. He has led large-scale indoor greenhouse and outdoor operations across various U.S. markets, specializing in cultivation, optimization, team leadership, because there's no I in team, but there is an ME, and cost-efficient scaling. With a background in engineering and data-driven science-based approach, Christopher consistently delivers strong results with strong THC numbers, with plant health, productivity, and operational efficiency. It is none other than Mr. Christopher Vaos.
What's going on?
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. I needed it. We had a lot going on in the last couple of weeks. This article I'm reading today is from ignited.com. It is the hot topic this week about the hemp industry getting shut down from legal to illegal. Hemp industry faces shock ban and shutdown agreement. News of a deal to reopen the federal government swept through cannabis and hemp communities on Sunday when it was revealed that the agreement includes provisions to ban intoxicating hemp products. Under the spending plan hammered out by Senate Republicans and 8 Democratic moderates in the chamber, the federal government would criminalize many hemp-derived products that have become popular since the 2018 Farm Bill legalized the crop. The appropriations bill at the heart of the agreement would end the government shutdown, which has continued for 41 days. Under its hemp provisions, the measure prevents the unregulated sale of intoxicating hemp-based or hemp-derived products, including Delta-8, from being sold online, in gas stations, corner stores, while preserving non-intoxicating CBD and industrial hemp products. Under the current federal law, cannabis with no more than 0.3% Delta-9 THC on a dry weight basis is considered legal hemp. The appropriations bill is enacted in its current form. The total weight of THC would include Delta-8 THC and other isomers of the compound. The measurement would also include any other cannabinoids that have similar effects or marketed to have similar effects on humans or animals as a tetracannabinol, as determined by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, meaning that they're going to include THCA in that. The debate over hemp products with THC and other intoxicating cannabinoids has divided advocates for the plan. Many in the regulated marijuana industry say a ban is needed to correct a loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill, while hemp advocates say a prohibition on hemp-derived cannabinoids would deny patients and consumers access to products that are currently available and potentially therapeutic. Paul Armentano, Deputy Director of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, NORML, tells Ignited that the group and other organizations have urged the FDA to establish regulatory guidelines governing the production, testing, labeling, and marketing of hemp-derived intoxicating cannabinoid products. NORML has also expressed concern about the quality of hemp-derived cannabinoid products, many of which are synthetically produced, noting that some are inaccurately labeled and could contain heavy metals or other contaminants. That said, a market for these products exists largely as a result of cannabis prohibition. Consumers desire safe and affordable cannabis products in jurisdictions where products are not state legal. Use and demand for these unregulated alternatives is far greater than elsewhere, which is why we need Shaun here to comment on that. She's representing that Texas crowd that's really going to lose access here. Lawmakers ought to recognize this reality and act in a way that provides greater expansion of and regulated access to legal cannabis markets, thereby reducing demand for these alternative products. This is a long article. I'm not going to read it to the end. We've all been talking about this all week. It's all over social media. It's getting spun every which way. You know, I can only really speak from my point of view. The reason I picked this article is that they interviewed a friend of mine who had her point of view kind of chewed up on social media when she was interviewed about it. But, you know, it's complicated. It's definitely complicated. I understand, you know, not to speak for or against Shaun while she's not here, but, you know, if you're in a place like Texas where you have zero access to medical or other forms of cannabis, this has been kind of a lifeline, even though there has been no, you know, quality control or, you know, anything, any safety checks on this. It's better than nothing. It's equivalent to the black market just being sold openly. But for those of us that have been in this industry for a long time, that, you know, we came out of the black market, we've been trying to do everything right. We've been trying to follow the path that has been put before us. Whether we agree with it or not, we just want to be legal operators. We don't want, you know, we don't want the law beating down our door like the old days. So it's not like we chose the license framework. We were just given that, and we tried to jump into it, and we're trying to do everything right. That said, you know, it's expensive, and trying to do this the right way and the expensive way is a headache. And there's obviously going to be a lot of emotion when somebody bypasses all of that and finds a quicker way to market. And there's all these other market implications. Obviously, they don't have taxes. They don't have licenses they have to pay for, so they can sell the product cheaper. The product itself isn't regulated through, you know, traditional track and trace stuff. So, you know, it's, of course, there's bad blood between the legal cannabis guys and the hemp guys. You know, we feel like it's taken away market from the, you know, the adult use customers. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, you know, It's unfortunate that we're in this precarious situation. But you know, Brian Dombrowski, I don't know if he's watching today, but he threw out an interesting comment in yesterday's episode saying, "Hey, you know what? Even if they include this language, it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't actually go into effect for a year. So you know, the real fight is going to be fought on the new revision of the 2018 Farm Bill, and that is where really the battle and the fight will happen." And so I agree with that overall. I'm not 100% sure that we're going to get to a revision of the Farm Bill within a year, but I do think, however, that there is a few ways, you know, seeing as how it doesn't go into effect for a year, that there are some ways of some things that can happen within that year's time to reverse the course of what is currently happening now. That's my thoughts on it. So a lot of people want to be naysayers and poo-pooers and, you know, want to take their ball and go home and go cry in the river or whatnot. But now is not the time for any of that. Now is the time to be like President Donald J. Trump and fight, fight, fight.
There's 3 distinct industries involved with this cannabis plant. There's what most of us have been trying to do for a long time now: get it legal, follow the rules. There's the black market, and then there's the hemp industry, and it's all the same plant. And when you try to, you know, stop one thing, it's like squeezing a balloon; it pops out someplace else. And what the politicians are not looking at, the 30,000-foot view, is that the average person has voted with their pocketbook here. Okay? The black market's thriving. The hemp market's thriving. You know, the green market's struggling. They're still up and operating. If you want to buy weed any place in this country, you can do it. Period. So, but I'm going to say this again to politicians. Why in the hell would you pass a law you cannot enforce? If you took every cop in the United States right now and said, "Oh, your only job is to try and enforce hemp, cannabis, and marijuana laws," couldn't do it. Why are we asking to go back down a rabbit hole? We already lost that battle. This is the insanity that I keep seeing inside of these politicians' networks, where people have emotional beliefs about weed. Okay? And so as soon as it starts to get a little advanced, you know, somebody's butt puckers up, Kevin Sabet shows up, some of these other prohibitionists show up, and the next thing you know, politicians are doing stuff, and you wonder, you know, I think people really want this. And that's the tension I continue to see. And then to compare and contrast this, Sacklers paid a fine, nobody went to jail. In this industry of hemp, they've sent a whole bunch of us to jail for doing shit that was just nothing compared to what other pharmaceutical industry products have done. We just don't seem to be able to get credibility in the eyes of politicians. They talk a good game. Here, I'm supporting this and supporting that, but in the end of the day, when you can't get shit done, it's like, how long do we keep listening to you? In the meantime, people are buying hemp, they're buying in a legal store, and if they need to, they walk around the corner and buy a bag of weed from a friend in the black market. This is what the reality is. How do you get people to pay attention to this when they're the ones making votes, pass laws? They just have no hope of enforcing. It's insanity. It really is.
I mean, there's a safety issue as well. I mean, you know, we have overflow of, for example, take California. We have a ton of overflow of, you know, under-regulated cannabis. Let's call it that. However, the initial license scheme was for them to set up the operation, and it overflows into the hemp market. All right, some of that is sprayed with pesticides. You know, hemp isn't really being regulated or overseen in the same way as other cannabis. Not that other cannabis, you know, legal cannabis has the best job of being overseen either. It's all kind of a mess, but it's akin to the black market, but it's much more opportunistic. Where I feel like the black market was, you know, you really had to have guts and balls to go into it, and you did that because you had a strong passion for what you were doing. You weren't just doing it for money, you know. But when it becomes just a slap on the wrist, every fly-by-night opportunist is going to jump into it and do even worse, unscrupulous things to the product itself, to the end consumer, you know, with no care of the safety of the end consumer. So that's concerning. And I know that's not all hemp. You know, someone in the comments can be like, oh, well, I know guys that grow hemp and it's really good quality. That's true for everything, you know. But a lot of the bad actors aren't being addressed. And I hate to be, you know, from that point of view, because I do respect the loophole, and I do think the plant should be free.
It's not a loophole. Why do people always call it? It's not a loophole. These people knew exactly what they were doing when they did this. They're just totally gaslighting you, and every time you guys call this shit a freaking loophole, you guys are just playing into their game.
A certain interpretation of the law, let's put it that way, right? So,
I mean, there's only one interpretation, and it's pretty clear. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's shit. Anybody can see through that. Even the crows in the Windex commercial can see through that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what states like Texas do to address it, because they do have a market. They do have a large advocacy groups, a lot of money on both sides. And, you know, are they going to come up with an emergency plan to sell cannabis another way? Are they going to finally start talking about, you know, recreational adult use? But we all kind of saw this writing on the wall with the hemp industry for a while. You know, there were warning signs.
So, there were plenty of warning signs. You are right about that, Chris, 100%. And I guess we did summons Brian Dombrowski because he popped up in the chat. He says, Rand Paul's Hemp Act was written to be inserted into or attached to the next farm bill. Why do people think this has changed? This is another play to boost stock prices.
Could be. I haven't looked at what the MSO stocks are doing this week.
Oh, it's definitely. I agree with him on that part. This, you know what I mean? This is 100% a boost for the MSO stock prices. This is 100%. They're like, hey, we're getting rid of hemp. We're getting rid of the illegal market, you guys. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? We're closing down on the illicit market, and then we're gonna force everyone to have to come and buy from us. That's exactly the whole motto.
On you know, just to play devil's advocate in the defense of the hemp guys, you know, a lot of the reason that this is coming down is that they're not paying the same excise taxes. They're not paying the same licensing fees as everyone else. They're sidestepping that.
This is the whole thing, Chris. This is my whole problem with this, is that all of these cannabis people, medical cannabis people, adult use cannabis, whatever, they need to be lobbying for the same taxes that the hemp industry, instead of trying to lobby the hemp industry to say that they should be paying the same taxes that they're paying. It's totally asinine.
It's true. You're right.
These people are constantly always these people are constantly always negotiating out of their own best interests. It's ridiculous.
But see, that's the nature of human beings.
So stupid.
Yeah. Well, and I want to just bring up another point that, you know, I talked to some hemp people over the weekend at the Richard Lee, you know, celebration.
Well, how was that, Dale?
Well, it was really good.
Nice.
It was. I got to see a lot of the old dudes that haven't croaked yet. You know, we're getting old, so it's like, oh, dude, you can't walk. You're on a wheelchair and a walker and shit. Okay, cool. But one of the things we all talked about was in the acceleration of the drug war. It's happening in and around South America right now is concerning, because it's not hard to see that being put into play in the domestic drug war. And it's kind of concerning because we have moved away from shock troops and the cannabis movement since, you know, Richard Lee was closed down. They went after me. They've stopped that since the Cole memo and the Rohrabacher-Farr thing got them to back off, and they're not coming in with guns a-blazing. But it's a bit of a concern to us that they're heating up the drug war through, you know, lethal tactics, and how hard is it going to be to direct that domestically? I don't know what it's going to mean. It frustrates me that you take a look at this with some common sense and some scientific knowledge. objective reasoning, and then you get somebody take all this shit out of a bill, or we're going to change this, and it's like, are you guys listening? The answer is no.
Yeah,
they're being lobbied, and we're never really going to find out all of that. It's just frustrating because we've taken so many steps forward, and we have to take steps back now. And I've had clients who were in the cannabis industry legit, and it's like they're struggling, and then an opportunity comes up to make hemp products, and holy shit, let's go do it, because there's none of these nonsensical rules and taxes and regulations. They just started balling in the hemp industry, making money, converting CBD to other things, Delta 8s and stuff like that. I mean, I thought it was fascinating, but they went right into it making money, and no one asked them about, the children. No one asked them about testing this shit.
Yep.
None of it.
Yep.
So what's really important, when somebody tells me that, it just makes me chuckle. Because when you watch what they do, they don't give two shits about kids or about whether you're getting contaminated product. They don't care. They're there to make money. I think of those guys that were sticking vitamin E acetate into the vape pens. When someone finally dies, they go, oh, shit, we shouldn't have done that?
Whoopsie.
No, Sherlock. What the fuck are you thinking? No. Oh, he talked about there's rabbit holes we could go down that we've fought for years to stay out of. Let's just hope we don't get in there. The macho way to handle drugs when you tell someone not to do it is to kick the shit out of them.
Yeah.
We've got quite a bit of kicking the shit out of them. Well, but the essence of masculinity is to be a protector. And I don't see anybody really going to protecting people. We're just going to kick somebody's ass when they disagree with us. And that's just a bit concerning. We did talk about that at the Richard Lee.
Well, Dale, we could be protecting them from a bigger ass kicking later on down the road by giving them a proper ass kicking now.
Well, I don't really accept your underlying premise that they need to have their ass kicked. We're all in this. We are highly disagreeable, okay? And most people in this are much more disagreeable than the average person. And some of them are in what they call the male tail, where they're so far down the line, they just act fucking stupid, eat their chest, and, I'm going to kick your ass if you talk to me the wrong way. I don't want to see us go down into that, because we've gotten more towards normality here when our disagreement with laws. But it'll go right back. You pass laws that say you can't smoke weed, people will be filling their trunks and driving around like they used to. So go ahead, see what you can. I mean, I just think it's stupid, and it's a definition of insanity. But we live in insane times right now, so good luck with that.
We do. We live in insane times. And on that, we're going to roll into our final commercial, and we are going to be right back, because we're going to end up talking about this again right after this commercial break.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
Or the consumers, just benefiting the guys in between.
Yep. Well, we're going to stay on this whole hemp topic, you guys, because there's Republican disquiet over the hemp ban that threatens the passage of the bill to end the shutdown, you guys. That's right. A Kentucky trio opposed the provision restricting hemp-derived products. The House to vote on Wednesday on a funding bill, that is today. A last-minute provision in the federal spending bill heavily restricting hemp-derived products such as CBD and THC drinks could lead some Republicans to vote against the spending bill, which, if passed, could end the government shutdown as early as today. Kentucky is one of the largest producers of hemp in the country, country, and Republicans in the state have shown strong support for the hemp industry. Jonathan Miller, an advocate for the hemp industry and former Kentucky state treasurer, said that Kentucky is really ground zero for the rebirth of hemp, a niche industry until the 2018 Farm Bill allowed a much wider variety of legal products. On Monday night, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul broke with Republican Party and voted against the bill because of the hemp provision, which was revealed at the 11th hour, and which Rand Paul tried unsuccessfully to have removed. Miller said Congress has been battling around provisions to ban hemp for months, and in a quote, "First, it was as part of the Farm Bill, and later was part of last year's spending bill," Miller said. Paul successfully had the provision blocked before it found its way back into the bill, but fast forward to November and the deliberations behind the scenes of the appropriations bill mean the hemp provision has been added to the minibus, the addition concerning spending over various sectors, including agriculture. Senator Marijuana Mitch McConnell and Congressman Andy Harris were instrumental in adding the provision, Miller said. The current version of the provision criminalizes any product that has more than 0.4 milligrams of total THC per container. That's basically zero. 95% of hemp products have more than 0.4 milligrams, Miller said. The 2018 Farm Bill's only restriction on hemp was that it contained less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC. The new provision would ban THC in all forms, including Delta-8 THC and THCA, which are common in hemp products, and would also criminalize non-intoxicating CBD products with trace amounts of THC, Miller said. The bill will progress to a House vote as early as Wednesday, and it needs 218 votes to pass. There are 219 Republicans House members, but Kentucky Representative James Comer, Thomas Massie, and Andy Barr, shout out to Andy Barr, that's my buddy, have all spoken out against the ban. Massie said, according to the Louisville Public Media, "I detest the tactics that are being used to try to get the ban enacted into law." He's a true patriot. Shout out to Thomas Massie. The alcohol industry has been divided in its lobbying for the provision, and alcohol distributors who also distribute THC beverages wrote a letter calling for a regulation rather than an outright ban, while the American Distilled Spirits Alliance supported the ban. Miller said that although distributors want to continue to profit from THC beverages, some alcohol manufacturers blame hemp for the recent decline in alcohol consumption among U.S. adults. Hemp industry leaders are worried that the ban will simply turn the market over to the unregulated manufacturers, and in a quote, "If sweeping restrictions move forward, it won't be the bad actors who disappear," Jamie Treadwell, CEO of Treadwell Farms, a hemp manufacturer, adding, "Instead, we need thoughtful, science-based regulation." Evan Enneman, CEO of Iconic Tonics, which makes hemp-derived products, said the whiplash around the provision is destabilizing and unnecessary. Policy made by omnibus surprise rather than through open hearings invites unintended harm and fuels the very unregulated, unsafe market lawmakers claim to oppose, he said. The unregulated hemp market has led to problems with heavy metals, contaminants, and underage consumption. The good news, though, is that the bill doesn't go into effect until a year after passage. So we have a year to try to fix this, and we're hopeful to replace the ban with some strong regulations of these products, said Miller, who expects the bill to pass. Cameron Clark, CEO of Kana, which makes edibles for the regulated cannabis industry and the hemp market, said in the end he expects politicians will have to cave to consumer demand for hemp products one way or another. And politicians don't typically lead consumer preferences. They follow consumer demands, he says. Well. Look at that. There may be some Hail Marys going on from Kentucky congressmen on this final bill spending. Then they're going to vote today. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
I don't see it happening.
I don't either, but
it turned into such a mess. They're going to vote to open this government back up and then fight about everything after that, which puts us right back where we were before. How do we get anybody to pay attention to us when pharmaceutical and alcohol lobby are in their ears saying we're losing money, we're going to lose money. They get shit done. We can't even hope to get done.
Yep.
And I mean, props to the 3 Republicans who said, nah, this smells. Okay. And to Rand Paul for going, no, we're not doing this. Bring out some libertarian honus here and say, no, we're not going to do that. But I don't know if we're going to be able to. We're not going to get it fixed in the short term, and over the next year, it's going to be a struggle. Keep every other issue from sucking all the oxygen out of the room. That's what I keep finding. We get everybody's attention, then something happens like, oh, you guys just wait for a minute. We're going to go fix this other problem. And oh, by the way, in the meantime, we still have our problems. We're talking about them. I mean, we've been talking about the same issue. How long now, Jason?
Forever.
It's frustrating because it doesn't seem like it's that hard. Go out to a pizza parlor or sit down in a bar and have a beer with the average Joe Dokes and ask them what's important, okay? And a lot of this nonsense is just not important to them. And to stop criminality, to get this on the road to regulation, I think most people want that to happen. Polling says it. Their pocketbooks tell them they want this stuff. Why is it happening? Because of money. Let's just be blunt. It's because of money.
The little blurb about the hemp beverages is interesting in this article, though. What do you guys think of all these hemp beverages? Have you tried them both on a personal and a economic point of view? What do you think?
No. I think THC beverages are dumb. But
well, the problem is titration. Okay, if I have a shot of whiskey or a drink of beer within a few minutes, man, I'm
exactly
my Doritos and watching the ball game. Okay, even with nanotechnology, you're waiting quite some time, and you don't always get the same effect. So I think it's got a long ways to go. And I've tried them. I've had clients that made this stuff, and for me, I'm kind of a picky eater. It's like, oh, it tastes like fucking Brussels sprouts. Ugh, I don't want to drink this shit. But that's just me. I don't know that it's a big deal.
Cannabinoids inherently are not water soluble, so these beverages all have weird emulsifier chemicals in them that's required. That's the only way to keep it in solution. And then because they're going, they're trying to meet the 0.3% delta 9 by weight. One can has like 10 milligrams, and I can eat a little 10 milligram chocolate and titrate my dose on a mostly empty stomach. But if I'm going out and treating it like alcohol, I'm sitting out there, at the ball game, eating a hot dog, drinking this beverage, I don't know how much of that 10 milligrams I'm really going to feel. Not to mention, every hemp beverage I've come across has a ton of preservatives in it, a ton of sugar.
Yep.
I smoke a lot of weed. 10 milligrams isn't really going to do a lot. Am I going to really drink 5 of these?
Exactly. That's my point. That's exactly why I say they're stupid.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I just think it's an interesting discussion that, I think a lot of alcohol companies have gotten behind it, and I think it's already starting to fade. But it is a major component of the hemp industry, because I do see these beverages being sold at bars, restaurants, even some major grocers have picked it up.
Yep.
So they're out there. More so than all the other hemp stuff. All the other hemp stuff could be sold at gas stations and smoke shops, but the beverages seems to be, kind of a cornerstone of this whole hemp argument right now and what's going to happen with it. But a lot of it is being backed by, Constellation brands,
big alcohol,
and Bacardi, and a lot of these big alcohol companies are behind them.
Yep, exactly. Well, because they
figure out how to make it hit quickly.
Well, they have to.
The titration is the problem.
Yes, smoking.
They're trying to they're trying to diversify, because they know that the younger generations are not buying into the whole traditional alcohol measure, and that they all like weed, and so they need to be able to come up with different products so they don't lose their market share or their customer base. But the Pepper Plug in the comments, she says it's about the flavor, not the high, Jason. People shotgun these new products like the Jack Daniel's sodas. You're just getting a sugar rush then. You're not even getting high.
Yeah,
it's like you might as well just like mainline sugar, or like go to the, go to Earth Bar or something and get an IV blast or something. You know what I mean?
Well, it's hard to argue with sitting next to a guy watching a ball game that passes you a joint and you hit it, you pass it along. It's like, I feel good right now.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what they can't overcome. Because I've taken these things and you sit there and you went, okay, nanotechnology, whatever. Half hour later, I'm beginning to feel something, and then maybe I'm too fucking high to drive now. Like, why would I want to do that when I can take a shot of whiskey or beer or hit a joint or a pipe? That's what they can't get beyond. And I don't care what their marketing says. You go try this stuff and you go, holy shit. I'm giving the rest of this away to somebody else because I ain't going to use it again. It just doesn't work like hitting the pipe. Just doesn't.
You know what would be the best beverage on the market is if you bought a beverage and inside of the beverage container there was like a joint. Right. So then that way, it's just like, hey, we know you're going to want to smoke this after this, but this is going to help, wash down and ease your throat from any harshness of the joint or da 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 da. And that would be the best cannabis beverage that they can make. You know what I mean? Maybe they should make it a sore throat spray for all that harsh mids that they got everybody smoking.
Yeah. And don't go into marketing, dude. There's no future for you there.
It's just true.
Love
bro.
you, dude, but that's not where you're going.
It's true. It's just true, Dale. It's just true. You know what I mean? The truth is real. Well, I do have one final story for you guys today. And I think you guys will enjoy this because I think this story basically sums up the entire cannabis industry all in one story. And it's a quick one. Are you guys ready for this? All right, because a car crashes into the doors of a marijuana dispensary in Ohio, you guys. That's right. A vehicle crashed into the front entrance of the Sunnyside dispensary in Westerville on Tuesday afternoon. Westerville Fire and Rescue responded to the scene along with the Wintersville police, who are handling the investigation. No injuries were reported, and the vehicle's front end was heavily damaged, and the building's entryway was also impacted. Police have not released details on what caused the crash, but that's all that we have for you on that. And that, to me, is a pretty good sum of the cannabis industry overall. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. Sunnyside up.
Place. He didn't try robbing the place. He wasn't trying to commit suicide.
They just crashed in the front door. They just crashed in the front door.
Totally a metaphor for our whole industry. Nobody knows what's going on, and things are just crashing through doors all the time.
Exactly right. I thought when I saw this, I was like, this is a perfect story to end the show with.
If it wasn't for the weed itself to calm our nerves, none of us could handle this shit.
Exactly.
Really.
Exactly.
I wonder if he was under the influence when he was driving around.
So. The police haven't released that information yet. And, I can tell you that I imagine that since he crashed into the dispensary, he probably wasn't under the influence as of yet. But if they can try to figure out a way to get it into a system afterwards, they'll probably be able to say that he was. Because obviously he was going to the dispensary, right?
Well, the option on the driving test is run into the building, you fail.
Mm-hmm. I hope it wasn't something where like this driver, all of a sudden like had a seizure or something and lost control of the vehicle, and that's why that happened. I hope that's not the case. Something like that.
Quickly.
Yeah. Because that could possibly thing, but it's just like, and I don't think he was like a member of Antifa or anything. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't start looting the store, so
Well, but Jason, we've had people drive into dispensaries and run in and rob the place. So
yeah, but that's during after hours, Dale. This is like during operating hours. Oh, they had to. I bet you if they had customers in there, they had to process their sales and have them leave out the back door. They were backdooring all the weed. Just saying.
And don't pay your sales tax, right? Get out of here.
It's on us today. Oh man, cannabis industry.
I've gotten into more accidents in a hurry to go buy weed than I have when I was stoned. So it's the lack of weed, it's being underdosed that causes more accidents, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. OG Grandma 420 says Sunnyside now has a drive-through window. Oh man, that was fun. That was fun today, you guys. This is good little story to end the show on.
Never a dull day when you run a dispensary. That's for sure.
That's for sure, bro. You get all the crazies all the time. And, you know, but it also at the same time too, it is really, really rewarding because you do help a lot of people and you get to learn all these different people in your communities, their personal stories, and really be that kind of a lifeline for them to help explain things to them that they aren't going to be able to get any other explanation for anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it is very rewarding. It is very rewarding in that sense. And so,
you know, that's one of the interesting things I found in this modern day and age when you go in a dispensary and you find a completely, you know, disgruntled or uneducated bud tender that just, you know, like, yeah, here's the weed. And it's like, do you know how many people on earth right now would love to have your job and you don't give a shit about it?
Yep. It's very true.
That's an interesting. I mean, you could take anyone from Africa, from Bangladesh. They would love to be a bud tender, and this guy's like, yeah, whatever, just whatever weed you want. I don't care.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, that it's kind of, you know, it's funny because Trump got some hate for his answer with Laura Ingraham just on yesterday's interview when they were talking about this, when he was saying, hey, you know what, the reality of it is that we don't have a lot of talent in America and we have to have this H-1B1 visa program to be attracting certain talent for different industries if we're going to be ramping up our manufacturing sector again. And it's the same it's the same situation there. Same thing. Maybe we'll have to incorporate H-1B1 visas into the cannabis dispensary model for bud tenders and bud tendresses.
Yeah, let's ask Hyundai how that worked out for him.
Oh man, Dale, he's such a rainmaker, bro. Such a rainmaker.
I don't care where they're from. Just be passionate and educated about the product you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a McDonald's employee. Don't have that work ethic if you're at a dispensary.
Yeah.
Well, and the beauty of this product is that you can't get high by watching your phone. You got to do something. Tend to then go out and talk to people. And Chris and we all understand that we've talked to a lot of people who have benefited from this. Just shooting the shit with them and smelling their pheromones and sometimes their BO or whatever. And we get out there and be human again rather than spend our life on these goddamn phones watching porn and being mean girls and shit like that. Cannabis gets your ass up, makes you go out, talk to people, interact with them like we're intended to. Sometimes I think people don't want that to be happening, but, you know, fuck them. You smoke this plant, you're going to go out and rub elves with the people and some chocolate cake, whatever.
Yep.
Terps and pheromones. It sounds like a great name for a consumption lounge.
It sounds like a cannabis event to me. You know what I mean? Like a speed dating for weed people, because everyone will move at a snail's pace.
I think that's what they called the Emerald Cup there for a couple of years.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast. And big shout out to our audience and supporters for tuning in daily and listening to the insanity that is the developing cannabis industry. Huge thank you to Catalyst for helping us keep the lights on over here. And thank you to our correspondents for being absolutely amazing. Thank you to Cannabis Sativa L for giving us a reason to do this every day. And thank you to Cloud Media partners Elias and Gabriel. They're somewhere in the metaverse. And thank you all for tuning in and getting high at 9 with us. We are America's #1 daily cannabis news show. Trademarked.